cock your pistols.
Yes, Catalani's here. I'll tell her.
Come to California.
Excuse me, Annie. I just got word Houston's on his way out.
Oh, thanks. I'll call the doctor.
I really enjoyed your autobiography, Dr. Denny. Saving lives must give you lots of satisfaction.
It does. But the ultimate satisfaction will come when we complete our new research.
I just hate to cut you out of the herd, Doc, but Houston is going to be here in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
I'll be right along, Annie.
Barney, do you know anything about the test results?
No, Walter, I'm sorry, I
Leave
don't.
Barney out of this, Walter.
Kimberly, I need an explanation.
Water, honey. Round up time, Dr. Belcamp. And Dr. Price. On the patio, please.
All right. We will continue this discussion later.
Annie?
Houston! Oh, what?
I see you two have met.
Oh, I'm sorry, Annie. This is CJ. I'm my associate.
Howdy, CJ, honey.
Yeah, CJ, this is the legendary Cattle Annie Hickok.
Well, I've heard of you, Annie. Houston's spoken about you a lot. He's the president of your unofficial fan club.
CJ, why don't you go ahead and give Annie the donation?
Oh, thank you, honey. See this now. Matlock, I never saw so many zeros.
Something to eat, Dr. Belcamp?
No. You? What are you doing?
All right, come on, you people. Give back. Give this man some air.
It wasn't my fault. He ran right in front of me, I swear. I'll call an ambulance.
No need for that. No identification.
Oh, my God. His name is Tom Chapman. He's an orderly. He was an orderly. He worked at the hospital until Dr. Belcamp fired him for being incompetent.
Now, just offhand, I'd say Mr. Chapman overreacted a little bit to being fired.
Well, after the firing, he physically attacked Dr. Belkamp, even threatened to kill him. I didn't believe that he'd follow through with it.
Why don't we go back inside?
We're Tom.
Listen, take it easy, all right? It wasn't your fault. Listen, here's my business card. Now, if you need a witness, I'm in, all right? Just take it easy. Please. CJ?
Good morning, Houston.
I accept the orange juice with thanks, CJ, but I flat out reject the statement that this is a good morning.
Well, you undoubtedly have been to the hospital with Catalani. How is Dr. Belkamp?
He's losing ground fast. CJ, I stayed up all night trying to figure out why this Chapman fella decided to shoot Belkamp at a party in my office with a whole bunch of people standing around and recognize him.
Well, maybe this will help answer your questions. It's Chapman's wallet.
Where'd you come up with this?
The janitor found it. Apparently, Chapman dropped it when he ran out, and somebody kicked it under a chair.
One honest janitor. Now, where do you suppose an unemployed fellow'd come up with this kind of money?
Well, now, that's what I mean. It might also answer your first question, why he did it. Now, according to the license, he lives in the marina. 1400 Dolphin Way, boat slip 61.
You better get a hold of Vance, tell him what we got and where I'm headed.
That's me. Oh, if it's about the boat, forget it. Would you hand me that for sale sign there, please? Thanks. Who needs Hawaii, anyway?
Hawaii? Were you planning to move to Hawaii?
Tom, he's was my husband. He felt that we'd worked long enough, and it was time we retired.
Mrs. Chapman, have you got any idea why your husband would want to shoot Dr. Belkamp?
Because Belkamp fired him, I suppose. Say, who are you? I have already talked to the regular cops.
I'm sorry, I was just an interested party. Would you mind if I...
Yeah.
You see, the shooting took place in my office. Well, we found a whole slew of $100 bills on your husband. Now, have you got any idea where they came from?
Part of our retirement money, I guess.
Part?
Well, Tom, he said that his ship had finally come in $100,000 worth.
What ship? I mean, what do you mean by that?
I'm not rightly sure.
Is there any possibility that he was paid that money for killing Dr. Belkamp?
Well, anything's possible, isn't it? I mean, Tom's killed before, in the war. I mean, he even won a decoration.
Listen, think, Mrs. Chapman, now. Have you got any idea where the money came from or who it came from?
In a matter of speaking, Tom said that someone on the research team where he worked had offered him an interesting proposition, and he was thinking about it.
Did he say who on the research team?
Tom never said. Mister, would you do a favor for a brand new widow?
Certainly.
Would you get the hell off of here, please? I was brought up to believe that crying in front of people is not nice.
Said to get here as fast as he could. Apparently, Dr. Belkamp took a turn for the worse.
Annie, look, I'm sorry. I know Dr. Belcamp being your friend and all, he must have been a real special person.
Yeah. In more ways than one. The man saved my life.
Literally?
2 years ago, I was deader than a doornail.
What do you mean, Annie?
Well, I was pronounced dead. My heart quit pumping. Actually stopped.
Dr. Belcamp brought you back.
Yeah. With the help of a wonderful new serum he developed with his partner.
Well, that's not totally accurate, Annie. You see, our entire team developed Serum 100A. What it is, it minimizes the risk factor in a heart transplant.
Annie, you mean to tell me you had a...
Ain't that a hoot? Some folks down home claim Catalani ain't never had a heart. Now I've had two.
That's why you hog-tied me into this fundraising thing, too, isn't it? You wanted to see Dr. Belcamp's organization grow and prosper.
Mm-hmm. Now it's all over for Walter. Thanks to that varmint that shot him.
Annie, there's a possibility that somebody hired Chapman to kill Belcamp.
Who says so?
I do.
Well, in that case, Catalani is calling back her marker. Houston, I want you to find out who did the hiring.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Annie.
Excuse us.
CJ, now, Chapman's widow, in a manner of speaking, says that somebody from Belcamp Denny hired Chapman to kill Belcamp.
Well, that's my cue to go back to the office and check up on all those team members.
That's right. And since the killer was supposed to be paid $100,000...
I'll run a financial check on all of them.
Right. You got it. Yeah, and if you need me, I'll be in surgery. Denny?
Ah, Houston. Please join me.
Guess you heard about Dr. Belcamp, huh?
Yeah, tragic.
Yeah. Now, what's going on down there? Looks like a television show.
They're preparing a patient for a heart transplant.
Oh. Well, I'd just soon read about it.
Well, you can relax. They can't begin without the surgeon, and I'm him. It's a fascinating operation to watch.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll just pass on this one.
You know, during my first heart transplant, after I removed the patient's heart, I stared into his chest. I was in awe.
Yeah, that's something else. You know, I bet that it almost make a person feel a little bit like God, you know? Tell me something. Was your partner hard to get along with? I mean, the ornery type.
Well, not until recently. No, I don't know. Something was bothering him. We weren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. Well, it brings me to my next question. Now, what do you suppose is going to happen at the research center now that Belcamp's gone?
I'll simply carry on. Walter would have wanted it that way.
I'll bet you Walter also would have wanted to know the identity of the man who hired Chapman to kill him.
Hired? What are you talking about, hired?
Talking about the $100,000 that was being paid Chapman by you or another member of this research team for messing up my fundraising party by killing Dr. Belcamp.
Where in the hell did you ever get such an off-the-wall theory like that?
Chapman's widow.
That's ridiculous. There's only 3 of us left on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does tend to narrow it down a little bit, doesn't it?
Let me give you some advice, cowboy. You just drop your investigation. It's only going to hurt the research center, and the work we're doing here is one hell of a lot more important than you're getting off playing Texas Ranger.
Emergency, sir. Can you give us a hand here?
You bet. Who's in trouble here?
You!
How's he doing?
He's still out. That cowboy is not gonna going to be too happy when he wakes up, especially when we tell him about the funeral. Here's.
Fill her up and check under the hood, would you?
Showtime, Houston. Baby's got a rundown on all our suspects. By the way, I'm going to start with the dead man's partner, Dr. Owen Denny. He's a brilliant heart surgeon. He is very flamboyant, and he loves the ladies.
Well, I understand he loves publicity, too. I mean, I see him all the time on the TV talk shows and in the newspapers. Tell me something, CJ. How's his partner feel about all the hoopla?
Well, his partner feels the way anybody would who does all the work and doesn't get any of the credit. There was a lot of tension between Belcamp and Denny.
Well, maybe Dr. Denny decided to end the partnership the hard way, huh?
That's possible.
Who's next?
Well, next we have Dr. Kimberly Price. She's very young, very talented, and very ambitious. Dr. Belcamp found her when she was a young intern, and he liked her work, so he took her under his wing personally.
Does that mean what I think it means?
You bet. Very hot and heavy affair till about 2 months ago when she replaced him for a newer and younger Romeo. Want to make any bets on who it is?
Oh, Dr. Owen Denny?
Give a cigar to the cowboy. Very good.
Yeah, that also means that she's next in line to take Dr. Belcamp's place on the foundation.
That's right. Now, this is Barney Jenks. He's the team research assistant, and he was very instrumental in the development of Serum 100A, and they're now working very hard on developing Serum 100B.
Well, CJ, what is all this serum stuff?
Well, I don't know, but it has something to do with human organ transplants.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Well, have you got anything else on Barney Jenks?
Well, just that he and Belcamp go back a long way. It was a very tight relationship.
Yeah, well, relationships have a way of disintegrating, CJ.
This is true, Houston.
Yeah. But it's Catalani. Come on, she's not one of our suspects.
Maybe, maybe not, but I'd still love to know what that sweet Texas favor is that you owe her.
If you dare to tell her, Matlock, I'm gonna jerk a nut in your tail.
Hello, how are you, sweet Faye?
Oh, now, come on, Catalani. Tell me what's that secret something going on between you and Houston. Come on, fess up.
What do you think, Annie? Should we tell her?
It really ain't no big deal.
Well, in that case, I think CJ's a safe bet. You see, CJ, Annie saved my life before I was born.
Before you were born?
Yeah, my mother was 8 months pregnant. He got in a car wreck way out in the boondocks, and Annie came along and delivered me right on the spot. Saved me and my mother.
Like I said, it was no big deal.
Thank you, Annie. That's for me and a whole lot of other people who love this big robe-wearing galoot.
Oh, he's a prize package.
Morning, Doctor. I believe we have an appointment.
Well, the lady who phoned didn't mention a football game.
Well, that was just a little diversion. See, I wanted to catch you before you got inside, because I know when you're in there, there's all kinds of distractions.
I see. Okay, how would you like to proceed?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll pitch and you field questions.
That's baseball.
No, ma'am, it's murder. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Now, which member of the Bell Camp Denny research team hired Tom Chapman to kill Bell Camp?
Hired Tom Chapman? Who in the world told you a thing like that?
Well, it's just like the newspapers say, a very reliable source.
Just what is it you want from me?
Well, Doctor, I'll tell you. See, I already know about your off-duty consultations with Dr. Bellcamp and Denny.
Let's stop playing games, Mr. Houston. I know who stands to gain the most from Walter's death. I do.
Yeah, I know that, too. But listen, okay, come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, hold on. Let me ask you one more question, okay, please? Yeah, just tell me a little bit about your formula, the 100A, I believe it's called.
Serum 100A helps in the prevention of body rejection of heart transplants. Once we received FDA approval, we sold the patent outright to Dumont Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, what about your newer serum, 100B? Is there anything special about it?
Yes. Serum 100B helps in the prevention of body rejection of all organ transplants and not just the heart.
Huh. Well, that's pretty revolutionary stuff. I mean, have you folks gotten a patent on it yet?
No, we haven't received FDA approval.
Oh, but assuming that you do get FDA approval.
Yes, Mr. Houston, the answer is yes. It will be worth millions and millions to the foundation.
You won't tell me something else. What do you suppose your share is going to be now that you're co-chairman of this foundation?
The game is over, and you just struck out.
CJ, slow down a little bit, would you? I mean, after the ambulance ride and the gurney ride and the blackjacks, I mean, my body feels like a freight train ran over and then backed up twice.
Maybe you should see a doctor.
Yeah, no, CJ, just tell me about the financial information I asked you to dig up.
Well, our research doctors, Owen Denny and Kimberly Price, aren't exactly in the food stamp category.
You're meaning what?
Meaning that either one of them could afford to hire a killer for $100,000.
Yeah, well, how about the fellow we're about to visit here? I mean, how much does a research assistant make?
Well, Rich, Barney Jenkins isn't. His annual salary is $35,000. His bank account is flat as a tortilla.
When you get back to the office, I want you to find out
if any of our medical friends have made large bank withdrawals recently.
Yeah.
Dr. Brent Bell reports to Dr. Marr in administration.
Said he'd be here all day.
Yes, he did.
Oh, hi.
Hey, let me give you a hand.
No, I
can
can
Come on, I got it now. Here.
Well, all right.
It's heavy.
We're just cleaning out Dr. Bellcamp's office. There. Do you mind if I feed the animals while we talk?
Well, no, go right ahead.
Mr. Houston, this is Tubby and Stubby. And over here we have little Hank.
Yeah, well, listen, Mr. Jenks, I tell you, we're having a heck of a time on this case, and I just wanted to ask you, have you got any idea why somebody would want to pay Tom Chapman to kill Dr. Bellcamp?
Pay Tom? Nobody'd have to pay Tom. I mean, if you want my opinion, I think it was a vendetta. He killed Walter for revenge.
Well, maybe, yeah, but I tell you, it's just beginning to look an awful lot like somebody hired him.
Well, it could be that way, I suppose, but Tom was mad enough to kill 20 men. It was a lucky thing that I was with Walter to protect him the day that Tom attacked him.
Now, was this when Dr. Bellcamp fired Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, now...
No, just a minute. If somebody did hire Tom, I don't think you'll ever find out who it was.
Well, why's that?
Just a hunch.
Well, good. I mean, have you got any clues or anything you can give us that might help us out?
Well, just hunches.
Well, fine. Why don't you feed us some of your hunches?
I'd rather not.
Why?
Well, excuse me. It will maybe look like I'm pointing the finger at somebody.
Well, pointing the finger at who?
Dr. Denny.
Why Dr. Denny?
He tried to break up my friendship with Walter. Dr. Belkamp.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you and Dr. Belkamp have been friends for a long time, haven't you?
Yes. I was here long before Dr. Denny. It was jealousy. He was jealous of my friendship with Walter. It was a kind of class distinction.
Oh, well, what do you mean, class distinction?
Well, you know, I'm a lab technician hobnobbing with an MD.
Well, that's no motive for murder, is it?
No, ma'am, I didn't say it was.
Mr. Jenks, why don't you tell me something? Now, what do you think could be a motive for murder?
I don't know, Mr. Houston. You're the detective. But I'll tell you one thing. Dr. Denny is now #1 man. Excuse me?
Certainly. Excuse me. CJ, do me a favor, would you? I'd like to get a list of everybody who graduated from Dr. Belkamp's medical school class, would you?
Okay. What for?
Well, it's like Barney said, just a hunch.
Oh, cute little thing, isn't he?
Yeah. CJ, that's the man that killed Chapman. Call Novelli.
Thanks.
Oh, look, I'll buy it from you. Here, take all of it. Yeah, thank you. Gracias.
Excuse, please. No? Maybe you'd like to buy film for camera, too?
Jaw. Yeah, it's much square. Yeah, somewhere between Duke Wayne and Clint Eastwood. Yeah, they both had this look in their eye. You know, it was similar to the same look that Gary Cooper had when he said goodbye to Grace Kelly in High Noon.
Oh, come on, Houston, would you quit kidding around?
Oh, Vance, I'm not kidding around. That's it. That's them, Vance. It's the two goons. You recognize them?
No, but I'll distribute these and I'll put it on APB. Come on.
Yo, Vance, make it 2 APBs, would you? I mean, these cretins are out to kill me, and I don't know why.
You don't know why? I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
Yeah, I want to know why.
Because you keep moseying around, you keep asking questions, you keep upsetting murderers who don't want to be upset. Capiche?
Vance, I got a mosey. See, I promised Catalani.
Okay, well, let my office know we can get in touch with this Catalani so we don't need more than 5 pallbearers. Hi, CJ.
Hi, Vince. You wanted me to look into the banking habits of our suspects? Well, I just discovered that Owen Denny made 3 cash withdrawals in 2 months. Total amount, $100,000.
The exact amount that Chapman was paid to kill Belkamp.
Right.
I think it's about time I paid another little visit to our good doctor, Owen Denny.
It's safe to enter, Mr. Houston. I'm all through cutting for the day.
Is that another one of your heart transplants?
Sure. 20 years young with congenital heart disease. Before surgery, I had 2 months to live. Now, could outlive us both.
Oh, that's something. You know, I really admire your ability and what you do. I think it'd be a crying shame if you couldn't continue.
Well, why wouldn't I continue?
Well, you see, inmates aren't allowed to operate in prison.
Prison inmates, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about murder. You see, Chapman was to be paid $100,000 for killing Belkamp, and you know what? That's the exact amount you've taken out of your bank account over the past few months.
Come off it, Houston. I'm a wealthy man. I make a lot of investments.
But those investments aren't usually made in cash, are they?
Well, the kind you don't want to pay taxes on are. Besides, what I do with my money is none of your business.
Finding out who killed your partner is.
You better make that was. Houston, either you get off my back, or my lawyer is going to be talking to a certain judge about you. A judge who just happens to have a daughter in desperate need of a heart transplant.
Mr. Matt Houston, please pick up a white paging telephone.
Houston.
One moment, please.
Hello, Houston. I've located that graduating list of Walter Bell camps. Now, what am I looking for?
Barney Jenks.
The lab assistant? He isn't even a doctor, is he?
Well, I'm not sure, CJ, but I tell you, when I was looking at the graduating class picture in Bellcamp's office, there was Barney standing right next to Bellcamp, big as life.
Well, he's not on the list.
I'll tell you, CJ, maybe it's about time that I did a little operating on my own. Have you got Barney's address there? I got it. I'm gone.
Barney Jenks lives in an apartment building near the beach. Finding the apartment is no problem for Houston, but finding a way into Barney's apartment is.
Excuse me. How you doing today? Listen, I tell you what. You look like you'd like to take a very long, expensive lunch break. Say, maybe at the Brown Derby, huh? Maybe cocktails at Perino's, maybe a supper at Chasen. Yeah. How'd that be, huh?
You know, you sure don't look like an exterminator.
Well, right, ma'am. That's why I'm so good at my job. See, the bugs don't recognize me either. They don't think I look like the enemy at all, yeah. You see, that's why I don't even have to sneak up on them anymore. I got him.
Oh. This is Dr. Jenks' apartment right here.
Doctor?
Since the manager didn't tell me you were coming, I'm gonna have to stay here while you do your work.
Oh, ma'am, I can't tell you what a pleasure that'd be. See, it gets real lonely talking to bugs. You know, Mr. Jenks never told me he was a doctor.
Oh, well, look at that wall. And he's got more diplomas than Trapper John.
Yes, he does. Well, I guess that's how he knew.
Knew what?
Well, that his apartment had rats with rabies.
Rats. With rabies?
Mm-hmm. Listen, I tell you what, if any of those little boogers get past me with white foamy mouths and little sharp teeth, you just run them into the corner there and give me a shout, would you?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my apartment. Why don't you just call me when you're finished, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Glad you stopped by, Annie.
It's a pleasure, Matlock. I wanted to talk to you anyway. Seems like you've been ruffling more than your share of feathers.
Well, it sounds like you've been talking to Dr. Denny.
Yeah, and he is hotter than a spring jalapeno. He wants me to take you off the case.
Well, it's a little late for that, Annie. See, I think I discovered the reason why Dr. Bellcamp was killed.
What's this?
It's all hell about to break loose, Annie. That's a letter from the FDA addressed to Dr. Bellcamp. Now, it states very clearly that your new serum 100B is no good. It's totally useless.
Where'd you get that letter?
Barney Jenks' apartment, along with a whole bunch of other good stuff.
Matlock, that serum 100B has got to work. Why, the research team tested that out in every possible which way. Walter told me it was blue perfect, and I believe him.
Fine, Annie, but what I need to know is why Barney's got a letter addressed to Dr. Belcamp.
Well, that's easy. All the foundation mail went to him so he could weed it out.
So there's a possibility that Belcamp never saw that letter at all.
I would bet on it. If he had read it, he would have told me so.
Well, Annie, I got myself an idea.
Well, then don't just sit there. Start making tracks. Stir your stumps.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Denny, please. And hurry. Owen, this is Annie. We've got big trouble.
Dr. Grenfell reports to Dr. Marr in administration. Dr. Grenfell is reporting to Dr. Marr in administration.
Barney, you happen to know where I might be able to find Dr. Price and Dr. Denny?
Well, I have a hunch you're in Denny's office, last door on the right.
Thank you, Barney.
Pleasure. Good, Oscar. Very good.
This is Mr. Abrams, the heart transplant patient.
Oh, yes, the patient. The operating team's waiting for him.
Dr. Adams' surgery. Nurse Webster reports Dr. Adams' surgery.
Don't panic. Just stay calm, Houston. It's all a little mix-up. All you have to do is tell them. Just say, hey, fellas, I'm just fine. My name's Matt Houston, and you're about to make a real bad mistake here.
All right, Michael. Let's put him all the way under.
Sure, it looks bad. Don't panic. You just gotta talk to him. It's a simple use of the throat, lips, and tongue. Yeah. Oh, boy.
We're ready, Dr. Denny.
How we doing?
All systems go, Doctor. He's all yours.
Anybody hear how the stock market's doing today?
No! Benny!
more, Matlock. How do you feel now?
Oh, Annie, I feel like I've been rode hard and put up wet. Looks like I owe you another one.
I'm sorry, Houston. I didn't know it was you. I never even looked at your face.
You see, I phoned Owen, and then I came over to show him the letter from the FDA.
Well, I never saw that letter until Annie showed it to me. Those FDA findings are totally wrong. Our serum does work.
Hey, well, listen, you must have copies of the test results around here somewhere. Where do you keep them?
In Barney's lab.
Oh, would you mind if I took a look at them?
Sure.
Oh.
Now, if you're too rocky, you latch on to me.
No, fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, well, thanks, CJ. Listen, you better call Vance. Tell him to hightail it over here, too.
Well, this isn't the correct data. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I do. Somebody switched him.
Who?
Dr. Barney Jinks.
Doctor? Barney's no doctor.
Well, what he is and what he thinks he is are two different things.
Would you care to translate that into Texan?
I'm sorry, Annie. It's just, well, Barney's apartment is a medical shrine. I mean, it's wall-to-wall medical diplomas, and all of them are fake and all of them are forged.
Why?
Well, it seems like Barney was almost a doctor. He went to school with Dr. Belkamp. Well, the problem was, Belkamp graduated and Barney didn't. He was kicked out and sent to prison 3 weeks after the class photograph was taken, 1 week before graduation.
What for?
And why did Walter hire the man for such sensitive work?
Because Walter felt sorry for me. Walter was my best friend. We went to school together, from two different worlds. His folks rich, my folks poor. I had to steal drugs from the college pharmacy to pay for my tuition. And I got caught.
So Walter hired you after you got out of prison?
He hired me as a lab assistant. And I did more to perfect those serums than any of you doctors. Yet you took all the credit for it, and you took all the money for them.
Barney, the money from 100A serum went back into the foundation.
Maybe, Annie. But the credit for the development of those serums didn't.
That's when you decided to cash in for yourself, huh? On the new serum, 100B? You secretly sold it to a pharmaceutical company. You sent the FDA some doctored-up lab test using Dr. Belkamp, Price, and Denny's name on it.
How'd you know that, Houston?
Well, it's really quite simple. See, old Barney there's got a nasty habit of leaving sensitive paperwork around his apartment. $500,000, Barney. You sold out cheap. Well, of course, you did have to pay Chapman off, and you still got to pay your two clowns.
Barney, why did you have Walter killed? He was your best friend.
He was my best friend, Annie. He was gonna turn me in.
Okay, folks. Nobody panics. We got a van out back, and we're all going bye-bye.
No problem, fellas. I know how rough you can be.
Don't worry, Matlock. These fellas are hobbled. You go get Barney.
Here's something else, Annie. Get out of here. Come on. Come on.
Houston, what in the name
Just missed him, Vance. The doctor's out.
You know that I brought Mama an onion from Vidalia.
Look happy, Houston?
Well, happy? I mean, this is my overjoyed look, Vince.
Vince, Houston and Annie just got back from their last fundraiser.
Meaning that Houston doesn't have to make any more speeches.
That's right. I tell you, it's going to be the last time I have to sit through a main course of mystery meat and mashed mush. Speaking of grub, where's Mama?
She'll be right out. She's got a surprise for y'all.
How old are you all?
I told you.
Mama, you look great. Have you been taking her shopping or what?
Isn't she beautiful? Honey, you make the yellow rose of Texas blush to pink.
Hey, you ain't seen nothing yet, partner. Okay, you saddle tramps, move it out, pronto. A special pizza for Catalani. Oh, wow, it's Texas! The pepperoni is Dallas, the olives is Lubbock, the green peppers is Galveston, and the mushroom is San Antonio. He was Catholic, you know.
But Mama, where is Houston?
The meatball.
The meatball?
Sure. The meatballs. They're always the best. Houston.
Sorry, Mr. Burnham, we're going to have to check your briefcase.
Didn't I tell you clowns that today's Saturday?
Good morning.
Sir, if you would just...
Oh, what's the use here? Keep it. Compliments of Herman Burnham. Your boss will probably think I stole it from him anyway.
We'll have to have your identification badge also.
I can't give you anything but love, baby. Have a nice day.
No. No, I don't care what it costs. I can't lose those proxies.
Joey's here.
Hello, Joey.
Hello, boss. Here's your mail.
Thank you, Joey.
Have a nice day.
Can't believe this. I mean, you're destroying the magic. We're so close to being finished.
Close. You are finished. I've got the proxies. I am taking over the company, bringing it back to reality before you or my brother bankrupts it. Now, here's a bulletin. It's over.
No, it's not over. Joey's world is my life, and I'm not letting you throw it away.
Hello, John Gordon. Here's the mail for the lab.
Thank you, Joey 3.
Have a nice day. I love you, John Gordon. I can't give you anything but baby. Hello, beautiful. Joey's here.
I wish you'd stop doing that.
I have a special delivery for your boss.
Go right in.
I can't give you anything but love, baby.
No, by tomorrow.
Right.
Joey's here. Have a nice day.
The last 2 weeks, Murray had been screaming at Houston about spending too much time on his detective agency and none on his empire. So today, Houston promised Murray they'd spend the whole day catching up on a logjam of paperwork. But what Houston didn't know was that 2 hours ago, Murray's entire life had been turned upside down.
Houston, thank God you're here. There's not a moment to spare. Well, now, slow down, Murray. We got all day. I specifically set this whole day aside to read all that needs reading, sign all that needs signing, and generally exec everything that needs exec. No, you can't.
What do you mean I can't?
Houston, I want to hire you as a detective.
You want to what?
Well, you heard him.
It's an important case. And I have to warn you, should you decide to accept this assignment, it could be dangerous. But Houston, I think you're the man for the job.
Well, thank you, Murray. Why don't we talk about this inside?
In a way, of course, it's your fault. You might keep that in mind when we discuss your fee.
Well, consider it kept in mind, Murray. Now, what's your problem?
You know I'm one of the trustees for the Meadowood Children's Home.
Oh, I remember when you volunteered to help and you invested some money for them. Hoyt Electronics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because John Gordon Boyd had just signed on to head Hoyt Electronics' video division. It was Houston who showed me the newspaper article. It was his suggestion, in a way.
Well, Murray, I don't give stock tips, but I do know who John Gordon Boyd is. The man's a genius, and everybody around him is going to make buckets of money.
Unless he's arrested for murder.
You want to pass that one by me once again?
Willie Hoyt, vice president and co-owner of Hoyt Electronics, was murdered less than 2 hours ago. Now, the information I have is sketchy, but John Gordon Boyd seems to be a prime suspect.
Well, is there any reason why they suspect him more than anybody else?
It was his robot who did the killing.
His robot, as in mechanical creature?
But of course, Houston, those people at the orphanage trusted me, and now their investment. Please, you've got to help me.
Murray, you got me. I'll do the best I can.
You mean you'll do it?
Mm-hmm.
You'll take the case?
That's what I just said.
So what are we standing around here for? Come on. We got a case to solve, cowboy.
Well, Murray, I'd like to finish
Let's shake a leg, Houston.
Coffee. Yes, sir.
A few years ago, when Houston met John Gordon Boyd, he was, and still is, one of the world's few authentic 200 IQs. Still in his teens, he became a legend of the video game industry and the creative backbone of Hoyt Electronics.
There's John Gordon. Now tell me, does that look like the face of a killer?
Murray, have you ever heard of Babyface Nelson?
You're a pretty boy, Floyd.
Billy the Kid, and I'm sorry I asked.
Gee, I couldn't believe my ears when Murray called and said you were coming out.
Well, he said you might be in a little bit of trouble, so we decided to wander out. Listen, this is C.J. Parsons. She's my top lawyer and a good person to have around.
I don't know what to say. I mean, all you being out here. Nobody's ever gone to bat for me before.
Have you ever been in trouble before?
Hello. Please get out of the car, gentlemen, ma'am.
What's this?
All callers' cars must be searched upon entering or leaving the premises.
Well...
In addition, I need you to wear these identifying badges on your person in plain sight at all times.
Oh, look, please wear the badge. I'd even be stopped if I wasn't wearing one.
Houston, the video game business is a multi-billion-dollar business, but it's a competition of ideas. First one with a Pong or a Pac-Man wins all the marbles.
Mm-hmm. Murray's right. And the industrial theft of ideas is a major problem, so obviously the security has to be intense.
While you're on the premises of Hoyt Electronics, you will not stray from restricted areas.
I'll orient them.
Listen, I'll just pull my car around.
No, look, they'll have to park your car. More rules.
Listen, what happened out here this morning?
Well, Willie Hoyt called a meeting to discuss Joey's World.
Oh, Murray mentioned that. Now, what exactly is Joey's World?
It's the ultimate video game.
It's going to be life-size, Houston. It's incredible. You have to see it to believe it.
Anyway, at the meeting, Willie Hoyt said he was going to take control of the company and cancel Joey's World. I don't know. I'm afraid I threatened him.
Yeah, well, don't worry. The man wasn't threatened to death. He was shot to death. Well, why don't we take a look around, huh?
Right? Whoa!
Why did you shoot him? What am I doing? Do you believe this? I'm a grown man with a wife and 4 kids. I'm supposed to be taking fishing, and I'm here interrogating a tin can.
Don't handle him like that.
It's only a toy.
Robots are not toys. They're changing our world. They're doing the jobs that we don't want to do.
Really? What job didn't you want to do?
John Gordon, why don't you and I talk privately as your possible lawyer?
Don't you see? I mean, Joey 3 delivers mail, but I could adjust him to Arkwell car bodies or dispose of toxic waste in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, how about firing a gun? How long would that take you to rig?
The possibilities are infinite.
I'll keep that in mind.
CJ, why don't you take John Gordon for a little walk?
Great idea. John Gordon, why don't you and I take a little walk?
Catch up with you in a minute.
Spooky kid.
Well, Vince, he's a dreamer. I mean, he sees things a little differently than most of us. How's this little fella work?
You just talk to him. He's got some kind of voice programming or something. It sounds complicated, but it isn't. Anybody can give him instructions by inserting a tape cassette.
Anyone, huh? What's your name?
Joey, what's yours?
Got Matt Houston. I'm a friend of John Gordon's.
John Gordon's a nut, but I love him anyway.
Why'd you kill Willie Hoyt?
Want to try a rubber hose?
Come on, Vance. Feeling okay, Joey?
All systems are go.
How long you worked here, Joey?
I was born here.
Well, listen, have you got any idea who put that gun in your hand?
Why didn't he answer?
I don't think he knows. A robot can only respond with information that's been programmed into him.
So, in other words, he's got no memory of the murder because that information's not on the tape that's inside of him.
That's right.
So how'd he fire the gun?
That's a very good question, Vance.
John Gordon would like Mr. Houston to meet him in Joey's World.
Well, lead the way. Another one.
It's okay, Riley. He's with me.
I hope that one day every kid can have his own Joey.
That's a good idea. I tell you, I wish I would have had one of those things when I was a kid. I mean, it's great.
Who programmed Joey to kill Willie Hoyt? The answer is any one of the 4 following people. They were all in the area of security before or during the time of the killing. Here you have John Gordon Boyd, Hoyt's creative genius.
Yeah, when John Gordon Boyd was showing off Joey's World to us, I tell you, I saw something in his eyes, and it was a little funny. It was almost fanatic-like. Yeah, who's next?
Next, we have Richard Hoyt, the dead man's older brother. Apparently, the 2 brothers built the company up together, but young Willie objected to the money being used to develop Joey's World. So he and a couple of the other shareholders were about to take over the company.
Uh-huh. So Richard was on his way out. Yeah, well, people have been known to kill for less.
You bet. Now, here we have Herman Burnham, the owner of Burnham Electronics and Hoyt's #1 competition.
Yeah, I know him. He tried to get me into a business deal one time.
Well, from the tone of your voice, it doesn't sound like it was a barrel of laughs.
Yeah, about as much fun as finding a diamondback rattler in your boot. CJ, that man's a crook. From what I hear, he left Hoyt Electronics just 5 minutes before the murder.
And last but not least, we have the deceased secretary, Miss Glynis Duran. She's single, impeccable credentials. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with her, CJ.
That figures. expensive for a secretary, doesn't it?
Sure does. Red! Red! CJ, I'm getting a funny feeling.
I know what you mean.
Better check upstairs. Mr. Red!
This one's for the police, Houston.
You might be right. Look at this. Blueprints. Now, CJ, would you look at here? These were taken out of Joey's world.
Certainly were. What did she want, besides your best side?
Hey! Stop doing that.
Good idea.
She hadn't done that.
Do you recognize him?
Yeah, it's Hoyt Electronics' chief rival and the favorite crook, Burnham. Is Mr. Burnham home?
How would you like to have your head stuffed through your collar?
But no. Yeah, I mean, not really. Listen, yeah, if I could you... Yeah, listen, now, and you really don't understand this. See, I'm just a passing motorist. And I was going by, I saw Mr. Burnham's name on the mailbox and thought he might like to know that his car's on fire. Oh, it's a big fire. I think you better take a look at that.
Houston, what are you doing here? As far as you're concerned, I'm in South America.
No, you're not, Herman. Especially since you took the photos out of Miss Duran's house. You see, where I come from, they call that breaking and entering.
Only if the lady presses charges.
Yeah, wait a minute. Would you explain that for me?
What I meant was I met Glynis at the Hoyt place, and she seemed like a nice lady, that's all.
I get it now. Yeah, you bribed her to spy for you.
So what? I mean, Hoyt stole from me, too. That's part of my business. You don't think so? Look at this. It's his Joey's World, I'm Marvin's Maze. Two guys working on the same idea at the same time. Now, did he steal the idea from me? Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about honor among you two thieves. I'm talking about murder. You remember Willie Hoyt. Yes, he was murdered.
Now, why would I do that?
Because you're a greedy man. And I know that there are billions involved in this electronic video game business. And who comes first at it? Now, why don't you just tell me why you were at Hoyt Industries this morning?
I had a meeting with Richard Hoyt. Like Marvin's Maze, Joey's World is incredibly expensive to develop. So Richard wanted to bring me in as a partner, so we worked together. That way, maybe neither one of us would go broke.
Yeah, but Willie didn't want that. No, sir, he wanted to see Joey's World go down the tubes all the way. And I tell you something, that gives you a very good reason for wanting him dead.
That's true, but I didn't do it.
blueprints? Photos of her boss. What's it mean?
Who are you and what are you doing in my house?
Well, I'm C.J. Parson, and Matlock Houston had dropped by earlier to talk to you.
How dare you? I'm calling the police.
Well, you don't have to do that, because I've already done it. But there are a few things we would like to discuss.
Oh, you would you?
Miss Durand, we can gather a great deal from those photographs, but...
Get out.
Well, you don't have to get riled up. We just want to ask you a few questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Novelli. I'd like to talk to you, too.
Do you have a warrant?
Why would I need a warrant? I was told this place was burglarized.
You were told wrong. Now I'd like you both to leave.
We do need to discuss those photographs.
Photography is my hobby. Any other questions?
I guess not.
Now, why would she ask for a warrant?
The lady asks good questions.
What lady?
Hi, Houston.
Hello there.
Well, this is it. This is where we're gonna build Joey's World. Isn't this wonderful?
Well, this is really nice.
Do you think when Walt Disney was a little boy, that he could see Disneyland, even without knowing exactly what it would be? That he could actually see all those wonderful things, what they would be someday?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I've always seen Joey's World. Why don't you just stop digging, Houston? I mean, just go away. Look, in a couple of days, the police will get tired, and that'll be that. Because I'll tell you, I just can't take the upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But I tell you something, the police are not just going to give up and go away until they find a killer, and I'm not either. You know what I mean?
Mr. Hoyt.
My name's Matt Houston.
Yes, I know. John Gordon told me about you.
Listen, I hate to bother you any more than I have to, but you see, my client's got a very big interest in Hoyt Industries, and while I've been looking into the death of your brother, I'm afraid I uncovered an industrial spy in your company.
A spy? Who?
Well, I'm afraid it's your brother's secretary, Glennis Durand.
I'm stunned. Do you think she or Burnham could be the one behind the killing?
Oh, you see, that's all very possible, but, yeah, let me remind you again now, this whole spy business is strictly for my client's interest. Now, it's very possible it could have been either one of them. For that matter, it might be John Gordon. As far as that goes, it might very possibly be you. But we'll keep in touch. CJ, I'll tell you what really bothers me, and that's that the cowboy code says that you cannot hit a smaller man. But I'll tell you something, in John Gordon Boyd's case, I'm about to make an exception.
Well, you don't know for sure that he broke your brake line.
Oh, come on, CJ, who else was there?
Well, you don't know for sure that anybody broke your brake line. You could have kicked up a rock and broken it yourself.
If I may make a suggestion?
Oh, come on, a rock? Oh, my Aunt Millie's armadillo.
Time is running out. And I beg to remind you that John Gordon Boyd is our client. That the orphans are depending on him. Therefore, wouldn't it be more constructive to direct your investigation elsewhere? Couldn't you make the murderer one of the other suspects?
Maybe you can hit a smaller man if he's smarter than you.
Now, Richard told me not to talk with you, Houston.
Yeah, well, Richard does not count right now. John Gordon, you are going to talk to me whether you like it or not.
Goodbye, Houston.
You just hold up.
What are you doing? This is ridiculous. You're wasting your time.
Now, John Gordon, you are going to talk to me.
What's going on? Wait,
I'm going to find a baseball
what
bat.
are you doing? This is ridiculous. Will you let me down?
A piñata. John Gordon, you are going to talk to me.
All right, what do you want to know?
First, I want to know why Richard told you not to talk to me.
Because you might find me guilty.
Well, are you guilty? I mean, did you kill Willie Hoyt?
Of course not. Look, Richard said with all your poking around, who knows what results you might come up with.
Hopefully the right ones. That's what I'm looking for. Now, Willie Hoyt was not the only one you did a number on. Now, why'd you try to kill me?
What are you talking about?
My brake line. You cut my brake line out on the hillside. Now, Hoyt and yourself were the only ones there, and I talked to him till I left. Now, it had to be you.
I don't know anything about your brake line. Why don't you ask Burnham?
Burnham?
Yeah, he was supposed to meet us out there, too.
Well, now, if you tell me Miss Glennis Duran was supposed to show up out there, I'd just figure it was a nice big family picnic.
She was there. Didn't you see her?
No, but maybe I should.
Oh, don't worry about it, Houston. Joey, will you please?
Immediately, John Gordon. What should we do to Mr. Houston?
See, Houston? My Joey's can do lots of things. You know, that really wasn't very nice of you to hang me up there. Not very nice at all.
Should we make him inoperative? We can dismantle him. We're waiting, John Gordon. We're waiting, John Gordon.
I'll talk to you later. Well, you're an industrious lady working on Sunday.
I'm cleaning out my office. I have been fired thanks to your meddling.
Oh, now, come on. You can't be angry at me for finding out you were spying for Burnham. I mean, that's my job.
You wouldn't understand. Anyway, it doesn't matter now that Willie's gone.
Willie? You called him Willie, not Mr. Hoyt?
What's the matter, Mr. Houston? Don't I look the part? That's right. I was Willie's lady. No one knew it. Now it doesn't matter if they know.
So you loved him, huh?
More than I could tell you.
I'll tell you something, it's easy to say that you love somebody, but I mean, really, here you are stealing all of his secrets and selling them to Burnham. I mean, unless he wanted you to steal those secrets and sell them to Burnham. That's it, isn't it? Yeah, because he would have done anything to keep Joey's world from getting off the ground. And Burnham double-crossed him, went in partners with Willie's brother, just to finish up Joey's world.
When Willie found out, he said he'd kill Burnham.
Yeah, unless Burnham got to him first.
CJ, listen, get hold of the belly and tell him to meet me over at Burnham's. If I'm not mistaken, that man has just become our #1 candidate for killer.
Will do.
Right.
Bye.
You again? How do you keep getting past my man?
Well, you see, it's survival instincts. You see, I have this reverence for life, especially my own. You really ought to have the same reverence, Mr. Burnham.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you something. It's really quite simple. You can... Oh, now wait. Listen, I'm just having a little chat with your boss here.
Call the police! Don't shoot! I didn't kill him! Don't shoot, please! I didn't kill him.
What are you doing with a gun in your hand?
I came to talk to Burnham. I heard shots. Look, I always carry a gun for my own protection.
Well, until we find out whether that gun shot Burnham, we're gonna have to take you in, Mr. Hoyt.
But...
Hello.
Hi. I'm here to see John Gordon Boyd.
Yes, please wear this badge in plain sight at all times and check in with the guard inside.
You bet. Hello? Hello? Guard? Oh, scared me. What happened to...
You're to follow me.
I think I'll come back another time.
John Gordon's at Joey's World. I'm supposed to take you and Mr. Houston there.
Well, Mr. Houston's in here right now, but I have an idea. I'll go get him, and...
Please, I'm supposed to give you something.
Ow!
It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me.
Murray? Murray, I didn't know you played the piano.
I got a little story I want you to know.
I didn't know you drank either.
My friend.
Must be that kind of night, huh? I think I'll join you.
Of a brief episode.
Listen, Murray, I can't tell you what a mess this whole thing is in. I mean, it's got me all mixed up. Now, I could have sworn it was John Gordon Boyd, and I could have sworn it was Burnham. But then here comes Richard Hoyt, bigger and alive, standing there with a gun in his hand. The only trouble is that gun wasn't smoking, Mouser. You see, he pulls up to Burnham's house, hears shots, gets scared, reaches in his glove box, grabs the gun, but he never fires it. The events in his lab proved that, and it just messed everything up. So who killed Hoyt? Who killed Burnham?
Want you to know.
Where's CJ?
My baby, I want more for the road.
Murray, what are all these documents here?
And one
Murray, that's the mortgage to your house.
For the... Mr. Matlock. All those poor little orphans out in the snow.
Murray, it doesn't snow here.
The children's home. They trusted me. They depended on me.
So you're gonna mortgage your house just to bail them out, huh?
They trusted me, Matlock. And tomorrow, the stock is gonna fall out of bed right down the old drain, and the orphans right along with them. You didn't solve the case. I don't blame you. It's not your fault. It's mine. Where's CJ?
I just asked you that, Murray.
Oh. That's right. She got a phone call. It sounded urgent. Meet John Gordon Boyd at the factory.
Well, it's a little late at night, isn't it?
John Gordon Boyd's secretary called. It sounded urgent.
Murray, John Gordon Boyd does not have a secretary. CJ!
If you're looking for CJ, don't search high and low. Joey's World is the place to go.
Who's your voice today, Joey? Who sent you to fetch me?
Follow me if you want CJ alive.
You get me to CJ. This isn't funny anymore, Joey. CJ!
Well, when the stock market opened on Monday, Hoyt Electronics stock was as solid as ever. With the arrest of Glynis, John Gordon was cleared, and soon, his dream of Joey's World would be a reality.
Listen, thank you.
Now, Houston, you scratch your John Hancock on this one, and we're done. Murray, good to see you. You'll be thrilled to know that we're all through with our work. Murray?
Maybe I found him like this, you see. I tell you, he looks like a fish that's been on the creek bank for several days. Are you feeling any better, Murray?
Houston, that brandy. I will never, never, never drink again. I swear to you, I will never touch another drop. What's this? Someone's got the same name I do.
It's not the same name, Murray. It's for you.
Yeah, listen, Murray. Maybe you shouldn't look at that right now. I mean, there's a better time.
It's a bill from you.
Well, Murray, you did hire Houston, so we thought we ought to itemize things a bit for you.
Murray, hold on. Just
a deal's a deal.
Listen, Murray. It's just a joke. The whole thing's a joke.
A joke.
cock your pistols.
Everybody, I sure appreciate you all coming out here like this. I know you're aware that I just got in from Europe. Now, I want you to know that we did close the Rotterdam shipyard deal out there, and it turned out very successful. I think we'll make $1 or $2 on it. Now, you'll have to excuse me because I am suffering a little bit from jet and brain lag.
Houston, this condominium conversion proposal is not going to require much of your time. Now, my brother Murray told me never to waste any of your time, so I'm not going to waste any of your time, Houston. Now, let me get right to the point. With me, I've got graphs, I've got computer projections, I've got charts, housing density reports, water tables, blueprints, models. I've been to the mayor's office, checked on building permits, and as a matter of fact, I'm sure that any question you might have that either myself or one of my able-bodied assistants will be able to help you with.
You always talk this fast?
Well, as a matter of fact, sometimes I talk faster. You know, time is money, money is time, and
Fine.
future time.
Myron, fine. See, it's because of your brother Murray that I don't have any time today. See, he's sitting in Singapore waiting for CJ and I. We're on our way to the airport. He's got another sweet business deal.
Well, that's absolutely no problem, because I can sum this all up for you in 5 minutes.
You got 2 minutes.
But, Houston, you don't
The
understand.
clock's ticking, Myron.
Okay, the apartment complex in Denver. Now, if I can just get you to direct your attention to the blackboard over here, I think this will help clarify.
I thought he was going to the Orient. What are all those men doing down there?
Looks like they're having a business meeting. I read an article about Houston in Playboy. It says he often conducts his board meetings around his pool, or his private jet flying off to some exotic location.
Right? There she is now.
Oh, yeah.
Such a pretty lady. Too bad.
Why? Everybody has to die sometimes. Today's just C.J. Parsons' turn. That's all.
And recommend it as a go project.
Yeah, I tell you, Myron sounded like a real money-making son of a gun, and I would go along with you on it, except, CJ, if you are going to make it to the airport on time, I think you best go by your place to get your luggage.
Can I take Lamar's wagon?
Well, you can use my car.
Houston, we're going to be in the Far East for 2 weeks, right? So I packed a little more luggage than I...
Yeah, well, fine. At least you'll take the wagon.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, there's a trailer in back of the barn. You can hook that up. It's got all kinds of room.
Myron, why don't you recap that condo deal for Houston?
Great. You know, as a matter of fact, there are a few details that I neglected to cover. First of all, the mayor in Denver is not particularly happy with the fact that...
Myron, just hold up a minute. See, I do have a problem with these condo conversions. Now, I don't believe the people that are living in those apartments right now are going to be able to afford $150,000 that we're asking for the conversion.
Well, that's absolutely no problem at all. We're going to have people standing in line to grab up these units.
Myron, it is a problem. See, I don't think it's right to kick those people out of their apartments just because they can't come up with the price of our condo.
Houston, we're talking business.
No, Myron, you're talking business. I'm talking people. This meeting's adjourned, folks.
911. Come in. Cowboy 1, this is Legal Eagle. I got a Mayday on Deep Creek Road.
Houston, it's CJ. Your CB radio. I just heard a trouble on Deep Creek Road. It's a Mayday.
Excuse me, fellas.
Mike, this is crazy. Let's get out of here.
I want to make sure she's dead first.
Of course she's dead. Nobody could survive that.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I'm telling you she's dead. Yeah. And takes care of Reynolds, Baxter, and now Parsons. Just 2 more to go, and a whole week to do it in.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure. Hey, isn't that Houston's car? Let's get out of here. Come on. First this. Now she is dead.
CJ, can you hear me? No, easy, CJ. It's me, Houston. CJ, listen, are you all right?
Houston, those men, what happened?
CJ, listen, take it easy. I'm just gonna get you to the hospital, all right?
Houston, they looked like Laurel and Harding. They tried to run me off the road. They said that takes care of Baxter, Reynolds, and now Parsons.
Yeah, come on, I'll get you to the hospital. We'll talk about
Houston, they looked like Laurel and Harding. They tried to kill
this. Come on, let's go.
I ditched the pickup.
Tell me what you see.
I see Houston is carrying her to his car.
Is she dead?
Well, she has to be dead. I mean, the way that thing blew up.
Idiots. All right. Find out what hospital Houston is taking her to, and then make sure C.J. Parsons gets her medicine.
I can only give her advice. Can't make her take it.
Thank you, Doctor. Come on, CJ. I mean, listen to the man, would you? I mean, he says you have a slight concussion. What's it gonna hurt if you stay here overnight?
Big deal, Houston. Everybody gets a concussion.
Everybody gets a concussion, but would you just listen to me? I mean, sit down, all right? Now, I am worried about you. You are a very lucky lady. If you didn't have those seatbelts on, you might not have come out of that accident alive.
Houston, I'm going to say this again. It was not an accident.
Laurel and Hardy.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but this is what they looked like. Except for Hardy, the fat one had a scar right here on his face, and Laurel had a hook for a left hand.
A hook?
A hook. And after the crash, when they thought I was dead, I heard them very clearly say that takes care of Baxter, Reynolds, and Parsons.
CJ, do you know a Baxter or a Reynolds?
Yes, Belinda Reynolds and Kathy Baxter. We were sorority sisters in college.
How do I get in touch with these ladies?
They live in L.A., and their phone numbers and addresses are back at the office.
I'll get in touch with them.
Houston, those two men said something else. They said that they had only 1 week left to get the other two.
CJ, just how many more sorority sisters do you have living in L.A.?
2. Maureen Flanders and Carolyn Master. Their phone numbers are back at the office.
All right. Well, I'll get in touch with all of your sorority sisters and make sure everything's all right. Just do me a favor, please. Just stay here until the security men get here, all right? Okay. Thank you.
For what?
Not letting them kill you.
Nurse Bartlett called physical therapy on 14. Nurse Bartlett called physical therapy on.
Sorry. Here, let me help you.
Thanks for giving me a hand.
It's all right.
Gloved hand.
evening, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Classics Club. Tonight, you're going to meet some of your old favorites. Charlie Chaplin, W.C. Fields, Groucho Marx, Laurel and Hardy, and many, many others. Laugh at them all over again and enjoy yourself.
Well, Stanley, let's go to work.
That's a good idea.
Oh! Oh! Reminds me of a time, many years ago, when I discovered the Aqui Indians drinking the juice of the cacti.
I hear they're going to tear you down and put up an office building where you're standing.
Godfrey Daniel.
Hey, why are you staring at that young lady?
Well, except for that mustache, she looks just like my Uncle Harry.
Oh. Hey, I know your Uncle Harry. He doesn't have a mustache.
Yeah, but she does.
Oh. She does not excuse us.
You have a wonderful place here. So nostalgic. Really brings back memories. You pay us great honor. Please, come back and see us often. How much would you charge to stand at the wrong end of a shooting gallery?
Didn't we meet in Weehawken? Perhaps not.
Darling, I'm sorry I'm late. There's so much to be done. The caterers and the dressmaker and then
Frankly, I don't think Prince Charles and Lady Di went through half as much preparation for their wedding.
Oh, it's just that I want our wedding to be so perfect.
And it will be perfect. Because there'll be you.
6 more days. Oh, Jonathan, I'm so excited. I feel like a schoolgirl.
And you look like a schoolgirl.
You're sweet. But I haven't been a schoolgirl since...
We agreed never to mention age.
You're so much younger than I.
Elizabeth, beauty has no age. It simply is.
Say, Ollie, what does that remind you of?
I don't know. What does that remind me of?
Well, that's a Thursday.
How could that possibly remind anybody of Thursday?
Well, it's easy, you see. There's a Monday, and a Tuesday, and a Wednesday, and a Thursday.
Hold out your hand. You heard me. Hold it out. We have trouble.
Excuse me, darling. I'll change.
Hurry back.
I'd rather have 2 girls at 21 each than 1 girl at 42.
What's he gargle with, razor blade?
Now, why do I have the uncomfortable feeling that C.J. Parsons is still among the living?
Houston lucked out again.
Lucked out?
Yeah.
What are we running here, huh? A crapshoot?
If you ask me, we should have pulled the plug.
No one's asking you.
Mr. Renfield, this job's been jinxed since the first day. I say that what we ought to do is...
Listen! That woman out there is worth more money than the 2 of you can count. In no way are we going to pull plugs, turn back, or abandon anything. Ever.
What about Houston?
Yeah, fat chance he's gonna let us snare that Parsons girl again.
Then pull his plug.
While you were making your police report, I checked on my friends. About 10 days ago, Kathy Baxter, one of my sorority sisters, was killed when her car blew a tire and she plowed into oncoming traffic.
Police classify it as an accident?
Same as they would have classified me as an accident if I wasn't here to disagree.
It's quite a fire.
It happened about a week ago. 5 people killed, including another sorority sister, Belinda Reynolds.
Arson?
Bullseye. Last time I saw Belinda, she was worried about her son's eyes, about his having to wear glasses or something like that. Funny what you think of at times like this.
Yeah. Listen, what else have you got on your two living sorority sisters?
Maureen Flanders turned out to be one hell of a lawyer.
Local?
Junior partner with a Century City law firm.
Has she had any recent accidents or near misses?
Well, I called her and filled her in, and she's scared, but she's okay.
That's a pretty lady.
Doctor. Carolyn Master. First in her class, voted most likely to accomplish everything.
Did she?
Well, she thinks so, Houston. She gave up the big bucks to operate a free clinic in East L.A.
Have you heard from her lately?
Alive, well, and happy.
CJ, listen, I want you to get a hold of our security people and arrange for around-the-clock protection for these gals. Now, I want you to stay put and get a little rest. I'm going to talk to your sisters.
Oh, brother.
Well, judging by your tone, Myron, it sounds like your mission was unaccomplished.
Houston, L.A. is one very large landmass.
Like you said, Houston, mission unaccomplished.
Look, I really tried. I checked TV stations, theatrical agents, little theaters, comedy clubs, even parking lots.
And no Laurel and Hardy's, huh?
Zip. I did find a terrific Abbott and Costello, though. You know, those guys always did put me away. You remember that routine that they did with the who's on first and the second, third, what?
Myron, listen, I'd love to send you on an Abbott and Costello mission, but they're not the ones that are killing people. So keep looking for me, would you please?
Will do.
Yeah.
I mean, 10-4. Well, it's detective talk.
Flanders? Oh, I'm sorry, Matt Houston. I'm a touch late. Listen, I just walked right through your outer office.
I thought I locked it. It's hard to look like I was on the verge of a coronary, but I was a touch scared.
Well, CJ said she filled you in.
Kathy, Belinda, now CJ. It's bizarre. I mean, we're just sorority sisters, girls from Sigma House. No deep secrets. Why would anyone want us dead?
I've got some very good leads, and hopefully I'll have some more soon.
What do you want from me?
Information. See, if you can think of something, a common denominator, other than the fact that you're all sorority sisters, it just might help me. Now, I've got CJ making a list back at the office. Now, maybe if you did the same thing, it could help. Just something that might point me in that right direction.
I just don't know. Frankly, I've been out of touch with most of the others. I guess it must be the workaholic in me.
Listen, you gotta think hard, Maureen. Think real hard. Now, it's important. Something that might give me an answer.
I don't know. I keep going over the day the 6 of us graduated, the party we had.
Wait a minute. 6? I thought there was only 5 of you.
Oh, Mary Ann McDonald was a sorority sister. But she died 4 years ago, car accident. But I'm sure her death has no bearing on this.
Yeah. I'm not so sure. Now, I can't be sure that you're not next on the killer's hit list. Come on, let's go.
Where to?
We're going to your house. I've got a security guard waiting for us. Be there when we get there.
It's me.
CJ, I thought I told you to go home.
I am home. One of the reasons I'm calling is to see if Maureen is okay.
Maureen is fine. I just took her home. Listen, she told me about Mary Ann McDonald.
My God, Mary Ann. Must be my concussion. I completely forgot about her, Houston. You don't think her death's connected to this, do you?
Well, it was a car accident, right?
I'm scared.
CJ, did the security man get there?
Yeah, all three. Fort Knox should be so safe.
Yeah, well, you mean a little bit more to me than Fort Knox. Did you come up with anything else on the other sorority sister?
The other reason I called is because there's a message on my answering service from Carol. She said she wants to talk to you right away and will meet you at your office.
I'm on my way. Listen, you get some rest. I'll talk to you in the morning, all right? Barney? Houston, I'll be up in my office for a bit, all right? Barney? Operator? Matt Houston, listen, I need an ambulance right away, please, at the Houston Inc. building. It's 100 Century Plaza South. Thank you.
Houston, we gotta make him what was left of that guy who took a swan dive off this building. Name Richard Hunter, would-be comedian, Philadelphia, in town about 6 months.
Any other occupation?
Like I said, failed comic, got desperate. You name it, he'd do it if the price was right.
All of which tells us absolutely nothing.
Yeah, except for the fact that these two fellas, one of which was on the concrete at the base of my building, could have been working for somebody who masterminded these murders. Vance, thanks for coming down. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the coffee.
Bye-bye.
Bye, CJ.
You know, I sure wish you hadn't come down here. Why didn't you stay home?
Come on, Houston. First my sorority sisters, now you. How am I supposed to stay at home?
It's a good point. Let's go to work. All right, CJ, these are all the players and their common denominators, at least the ones we know of.
I checked the out-of-state sorority sisters. They're all fine. Houston, listen, I'm worried about Carol. I spoke to her on the phone. I filled her in. She said she was going to meet me here at the office. It's been quite a while, and she hasn't shown up.
Oh, yes, she has.
Doc!
CJ.
Hi, Doc. How are you?
Fine. How
Oh,
you doing?
you look great.
Thank you.
Matlock, this is Carol Lemaster, the best sawbones Harvard ever gave a sheepskin to.
Well, Dr. Lemaster, you can take my pulse anytime.
Well, I only wish we were meeting under happier circumstances.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the information that you girls give us will prevent us from coming up with another eulogy. Now, your lawyer friend, Maureen, she told me there was a common denominator that we don't know about yet.
What's that?
Marianne McDonald.
But she's been dead over 4 years. What could Mary Ann's death have to do with us now?
You tell me.
Well, there's not much to tell, Houston. She was a lovely girl, voted most popular in the sorority.
And she was lucky. Everything fell into place for her. Mary Ann was bright, pretty. She met a real Prince Charming and got married. Just like a fairy tale.
Except for the ending.
Yeah. Listen, Maureen told me that Marianne died in a car accident. Now, where was that?
San Francisco.
Oh.
Houston, where are you headed?
San Francisco. I want to find out about the so-called accident. Doctor, it was a pleasure.
Is he always like that?
No, sometimes he does things on the spur of the moment. Excuse me. Houston Industries.
CJ, Myron, put Houston on the phone fast.
Myron, he's left for San Francisco.
San Francisco? But I think I found half of what he's looking for. Hardy, but no Laurel.
That's because Laurel is dead.
Kidding. The top floor? Ooh. Okay, I'll keep an eye on Hardy until you hear from Houston. Right. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, miss.
Okay, but the next guy that grabs him, he gets punched out.
Oh, they used to call me Snow White, but I drifted. Oh.
Phone call I got says you come all the way up from Smogsville just to talk about that accident 4 years ago.
It was an accident.
Oh? Cheers. Well, here's the story. I'd been off of homicide for about a year, assigned a traffic detail, and we got this call that a brand new car was doing a Brody off the Golden Gate Bridge. 220 feet straight down, plop.
Yeah, and inside that car were the newlyweds, Mary Ann McDonald Singer and her husband, Charlie Singer.
Well, we found her, not him. She was strapped in, seatbelt.
So you just assumed that his body was swept away by the current?
I didn't assume nothing. The guys down at headquarters, that's what they settled on. But to this day, me and my partner don't agree with none of them.
Your partner? You know, something I'd kind of like to talk to him, too, if I could.
Well, you are talking to him. It's this way, kid. Ever since I was a rookie, I've had this feeling in my head that I call my partner. And whenever I was out on a case and there was something fishy, my little partner would start hammering on my head. And he sure as hell was hammering that day of that accident, I'll tell you.
Didn't City Hall think it was a little strange? I mean, they never found a husband's body. No records on the man. It was as though he didn't exist.
As you know, City Hall does a volume business, quick turnovers. You know, they reach a point where they have to F and F. File and forget.
Oh, yeah. So that's when the case ended.
And for them, but not for me and my partner. We were hooked. We just kept digging even after they retired me. Nuts.
Yeah, well, and then what happened?
And 6 months before she married Singer, Mary Ann McDonald came into some money, like $500,000.
Let me guess, you and your partner checked it out. Turns up that her bank account was bone dry.
You got it, kid.
Yeah, listen, was there any trace of this husband after that, any at all?
Oh, yeah. Me and my partner, we tracked him down to Utah last year. Arizona before that.
It was the same M.O., right? All he did was marry wealthy women, then get rid of them in a prearranged accident.
That's him. I know it's him. But every time I mention it, you know, somebody says, hey, Section 8, baby.
I don't think you're crazy, Buster. I just think you're one hell of a cop.
Ex-retired cop. You know, I wasn't going to show you this until my partner checked you out.
Well, what's your partner's verdict?
Oh, he thinks you're a pretty good egg. Yeah, I won a big daily double one time, and we used the proceeds to track Bluebeard all the way down to New Mexico. And that's him, the groom.
Tell me something, Buster. Can I hang on to this for a bit?
Only on one condition. If you catch that creep, you let us know. Me and my partner would feel vindicated if you did nail him.
You got it. And I'll tell you what, tell your partner I'd like to buy both of you a very expensive dinner. You know, steak and lobster. Who knows, maybe we'd come up with a big bottle of champagne.
Oh, he'd like that.
I bet you he would. All right, come on now. From now on, shirts and ties. That's it.
Mr. Houston, it's Murray. He's calling from Singapore. He's still waiting at the airport. He has to know what to do.
Murray, get a hotel.
I haven't met the chap. Oh, Houston? How was San Francisco?
Well, I think I'm one step closer to finding your would-be killer, CJ. Listen, ladies, I need to ask you all a question. Now, are any of you planning on attending a social event this week, say, like a wedding?
I am.
And so am I.
Ditto.
Ditto. So you're all going to a wedding?
Aunt Liz's.
Who's Aunt Liz?
Aunt Liz, Elizabeth Davis, as in Davis Diamond Mine, Davis Steel Mills, Davis Land Development.
You might say Aunt Liz is the patron saint of our sorority.
Founded it back in the year of the flood. Supported it ever since.
You obviously don't read the social columns, Houston. It's going to be the wedding of the decade.
Does anybody here recognize the groom in this photograph?
It's Charles Singer.
The man who married Mary Ann 4 years ago.
We were Mary Ann's bridesmaids.
The man has made a career out of marrying rich women, and then he kills them off, like he did Mary Ann, and like he plans to do with Aunt Liz.
Houston, this doesn't track. Now, why would he want to kill the three of us?
It goes like this. Now, he knows that Liz is connected with the sorority sisters. Like you said, the wedding's going to be a very large media event. He's afraid one of you is going to recognize him from a picture, because it'll get in the newspaper, on television, no doubt.
Houston, where did you get that picture of Jonathan Renfield?
What do you mean, Jonathan Renfield?
The owner of the Comedy Classics Club.
Jonathan Renfield is the name of the man Aunt Liz is going to marry.
Didn't CJ tell you that I found the latter half of Laurel and Hardy last night at Renfield's club?
Myron, I forgot. I didn't have a chance.
Now, are you positive that the man in the photograph is Jonathan Renfield?
Well, of course it is. I talked to the man while I was there last night.
Better get a hold of Aunt Liz and warn her, CJ.
Elizabeth Davis, please. Well, could you tell me where she is? This is urgent. Yes, thank you. She's at Renfield's club.
Call her pronto.
Look, yeah, the number's right here on the matchbook.
Hello, CJ. How are you?
Are you all right?
Never better. Why do you ask?
Listen, I don't have time to explain. I want you to listen to me and just trust me. I'm here with Matt Houston. Now, he has proof that the man you're about to marry is a killer.
CJ, are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
But what in God's name am I supposed to do?
What you do is nothing. You stay right there. Matt and I are on our way over now.
That was CJ Parsons with some good news and some bad news. The bad news is that Matt Houston knows all about your unsavory pasts.
And the good news?
Miss Parsons and Mr. Houston are en route here to rescue me from your evil clutches.
Well, then, we'll have to prepare something very special for their arrival, won't we?
What if Renfield doesn't want to see us?
Well, CJ, he won't really have to see us. I mean, we know what he looks like by just photo.
Well, Myron says he likes to dress up like Charlie Chaplin a lot.
Well, I mean, if that's true and he does it today, it's going to make things a whole lot easier. It's not going to be a problem. It's just going to be a piece of cake. Oh, boy. CJ, maybe if we just mingle amongst them for a while, sooner or later we'll run into him.
I don't think we're going to score that way.
Oh, but you did score. Now, I want you to do exactly as I say, Mr. Houston. You too, Miss Parsons. I thank you for your cooperation. But just head over to that door over there, please. Now, go ahead.
CJ, welcome. I haven't seen you since one of my weddings.
And never mind the amenities, Jonathan. Did you bring the car on the front?
Yes, ma'am.
CJ, why do I get the distinct feeling that Aunt Liz is not playing on our team?
Simple. I now have a team of my own.
Meaning Mr. Renfield here has been your second man all along. Just tell me something. Why are you doing this?
When I fell in love with Jonathan, and I do love the man, I had a complete background check run on him. It told me everything.
You knew that he killed 2 previous wives and 3 sorority sisters.
Lizzie, you've got to be sick. Why didn't you just elope and save all the publicity?
Elope? The daughter of Horace Pennington Davis elope? Mr. Houston, we're members of the aristocracy. And when we married, like it or not, it's a media event.
And you went along with all this? Knowing full well that 5 innocent ladies would have to die?
I went along with all this because Elizabeth has enough evidence to send me to several gas chambers.
Yes. If after Jonathan and I are married, I should suddenly die, then that evidence will immediately find itself in the hands of a very dear and old friend, the chief of police.
CJ, I never did like name droppers. CJ, watch her phone Vince.
Oh, you win some, lose some. Right, Houston?
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Tried to kill CJ.
You used to forget this guy. He's going to jail for the rest of his life. He's not worth it.
Maybe you're right. And then again, he... Tell you, this might just wet your whistle here. Oh, doesn't that look good?
Oh, it looks wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Tell me something there. What's a fellow like you doing running a bar? I mean, being a retired cop and all, is a little dangerous.
Yeah, but, you know, a little more income.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
You know, Renfield was a real pro. I mean, it's just like with all his victims. He really did his homework on Elizabeth.
I found out that Aunt Liz was a classic comedy freak.
And he built the classic comedy shop just for her.
Hey. Well, Mama. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Yes.
What a handsome man.
Who, Mama?
Pero,
Oh, that's Mr. Buster.
oh, so he's the one who was a big-time San Francisco policeman, huh?
Yeah. He supplied all the information to help Houston break the case.
Boy, they sure got good-looking cops in that San Francisco.
Ma, they got good-looking cops in L.A., too.
Really? Oh, you could have fooled me. Oh, buonasera, C.J. Houston.
Listen, Mama, I'd like to meet a friend of mine, Buster.
Oh,
How do you
you do? How is Mrs. Buster?
Well, there is no Mrs. Buster. I'm a widower.
Oh, what a coincidence. I'm a widow, too. 15 years. 15 lonely, long years.
Won't you sit down,
Oh,
Mama?
I really shouldn't.
Mama, what are we going to have for dinner? We're starved.
Oh, yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah, well, dinner would be a great idea.
Oh, I accept, Mr. Buster. I know a wonderful restaurant. You know, they make cafe that's not as good as mine.
Better cock your pistols.
Had a problem with my nose. It never really bothered me. No, I mean, until I got it all together, I was never really comfortable with my ears, you know? But now, like, I'm really comfortable with them, you know? I mean, just really...
Dry. For God's sake, dry.
The thing I told you.
Told us what?
Did what? They'll kill you two. The only chance you have, get to Houston. Mac, Houston.
Please hurry, CJ. Oh, CJ, please hurry, please.
Houston, I'm doing the best I can. Yes, is Dr. Kibbe there, please? He's in Guatemala?
Oh.
Well, does he have another dentist who can take his call?
I'm trying to reach Dr. Schaefer.
Dr. Baldwin, I know that it's past office hours, but can you tell Dr. McSherry that it's an emergency for my boss?
Oh,
good. Would
what
you
do
please put him
dentists
through,
do
her
on
through?
Fridays anyway? They think nobody gets a toothache on Fridays after 4?
Houston, it's your own fault for canceling all these dental appointments.
I've been busy.
You haven't been that busy, Houston. Why don't you just admit you're afraid of dentists?
I'm not afraid of dentists.
Then why do you keep canceling all your dental appointments? Dr. Morgan?
Give this to Houston. He's the only one who can stop it now. Tell him, Fear. Fear for...
Fear for what?
Tomorrow. Fear for tomorrow. Houston must stop or thousands will die. Thousands. Yeah. There it is. Houston's building.
CJ called Vince, told him we got something going on down the street.
Houston, my dentist is on the way to the office for you.
Mine too.
Ladies, toothache's gone.
Matlock, Houston.
Houston, you must find Houston. Hurry. Smoke.
Hey, what's going on?
That license plate number that you almost got your can knocked off for isn't going to do us any good. The guy's driving it stole it in front of the city central hospital. Just commandeered it right off the street.
So any idea why that car was chasing the other
Lieutenant? Lieutenant, looks like we got an ID on that body in the back seat. Name is Eric
Brand...
Could I see that for a minute?
Be very careful, Mr. Houston. That is very fragile. You know, that fire was so bad, the coroner told me if that hadn't survived, we might never have made an ID.
Name's Brandt. B-R-A-N-T.
Houston, you knew this Brandt?
He was a friend of mine, Vince. I hadn't seen him for years until just about a week ago.
Well, maybe it does all tie in.
What do you mean?
Well, there were two women in the car. They work at a meatpacking plant and were on their way home when this guy Brandt jumped in. Anyway, during the chase, he says to them, "You have to see Matt Houston or thousands of people are going to die."
Ladies, did he say anything else to you when he gave you the book?
There was so much going on. I mean, there was men firing at us, crashing into the building, the fire.
Oh, wait, I think I remember something. He said it a couple of times. He said, "Tell Houston to fear."
That's right. I remember.
Yeah, and then Lila said, "Fear for what?" And he said,
Eric was German. He kicked around with me for about 4 weeks. He was a fun kind of guy, you know the type. And they're always setting up practical jokes, usually on the teacher, setting up a crap game in the restroom.
Yeah, I know the type.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, through the years, I heard that he never really outgrew the practical jokes. He just figured out a way to turn them into making a living.
Such as?
Such as I hear tell that he sold the Eiffel Tower to several different scrap iron dealers, not to mention a few Picassos and Rembrandt.
That Picasso and Rembrandt never painted.
That's right.
Your friend was a swindler, a con man.
Yeah, but he was a world-class swindler, Vince.
Look, he came to see you a couple of days ago, so, what?
Yeah, I hadn't seen him in years. He told me he was into something big, Vince. He wouldn't tell me what it was, just that it was real ugly, and he wanted to stick with it until he could pull the string on it.
A con man with a conscience. If he wasn't going to tell you anything, why did he come and see you?
Well, Vince, there's a few things he wanted me to take care of in case it went sour, which it did. It's strictly personal, had nothing to do with the case.
If I'm not mistaken, the girl's apartment should be right down the street. You ever think we might be on a wild goose sit?
Yeah, he said thousands would die if I didn't stop something.
The lady said he was dying, he was rambling, he was incoherent. He was having a fantasy.
Why would he tell me to fear for tomorrow?
Maybe he read your horoscope. Maybe his bookie got tired of chasing him. Maybe some guy he stiffed in the past finally got to him.
You always ramble on like this when you've been up all night.
Look, I'm just trying to point out there's a lot of reasons why somebody might want to kill this guy that have nothing to do with a mysterious book and a secret code.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I said, we're on a wild goose sit.
Maybe not. Vince, the guy who just walked past the window is the same guy who tried to run me down. Great!
Take the side stairs.
Get an ambulance.
Hang on. You just hang on. All right? It's gonna be fine, buddy.
CJ, he stopped breathing twice.
Houston, he's alive. That's all that counts right now.
But the kids, Mama, his family, somebody's got to tell
The
them.
police force is taking care of that, Houston.
CJ, he is my best friend. I stood there and watched the whole thing, and I felt so damn helpless. I couldn't do anything about it.
Houston, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay.
It's got to be okay. It's got to be. I have got to find out who's trying to kill all my friends.
Good to see you looking almost normal again.
Any word on Vince?
He's still in surgery, Houston. It looks like he's going to be there a few more hours. And Baby and I have not been able to unscramble the code in Eric Brandt's book. But I followed up your hunch. I called the coroner's office. Now, the forensic team said that Eric Brandt was wearing hospital white pants when he jumped into the car. Which brings us to where he jumped into the car, which was right in front of City Central Hospital. Now, I also followed up your other hunch, checked out his hospital records, and in fact, he did work there as a kitchen helper.
So a man with 4 Swiss bank accounts, a townhouse in Manhattan, and a villa in the south of France is working as a kitchen helper.
Are you sure he had all those assets?
Now, CJ, when he came to see me, he left all the paperwork for me for safekeeping.
Well, then he is working on some kind of a con, which would explain why the address of the hospital record is a vacant lot. Con that turned ugly before he had a chance to pull the strings.
For thousands of people will die. I'm a CJ. What the hell is it, and what's it mean?
I don't know. That's that tooth. Why don't you let me call the doctor?
I have no time.
You want to walk around in pain, is that it?
CJ, today is the tomorrow that Eric was warning us about. Vince is in surgery. Eric's dead. I need you to double-check the hospital. Find out exactly what Eric's duties were.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be doing the last thing that Eric wanted me to do. See, he's got a little girl that goes to a boarding school here in the city. The girl has a grandmother somewhere in Europe. Now, we'll have to find her. And then with your legal expertise, just make sure all of Eric's money and property go to the girl. And the most important thing Eric wanted to make sure of is that this little girl didn't find out about him dying from the newspapers or from the police.
It's not fair. It's just not fair.
I know, honey.
And I loved him. I want him back.
Nellie.
I loved him. I never told him enough, but I did. I loved him.
Honey, he knew that.
Are you sure?
Yes. I promise you. He would talk about you all the time, how much you meant to him. You were his whole life, sweetie.
He used to kiss me goodnight and say, "Do you love me?" And I'd say, "I sure do." And he'd say, "How much?" And I'd say, "More than the whole universe." He always liked that.
I bet he did.
Do they know who killed him?
Not yet, sweetie, but I'm trying real hard to find out.
When you do, I hope you kill him and shoot him and kick him and cut him up in little pieces.
Hold it now. Stop. Honey, there's enough killing and violence in this world already. The most important thing for you to do right now is remember how much your daddy loved you. How much you loved him. Please don't destroy that with bad thoughts. If you do, there's nothing left. Promise me that.
I'll try. I promise. I'll try.
Come on now, baby. There has to be an answer for this. Yes, thank you. Houston, if you're calling about Vince, I just heard from Mama. She says they expect him to be coming out of surgery soon. He's still hanging on.
Thank you.
Listen, CJ, any luck breaking the code?
No luck. I've tried English, French, and German, and nothing's happening.
Yeah. Listen, I had a thought. Now, Eric once told me that he studied Latin for about 3 months to pose as a Catholic priest. Then he found out that they don't use Latin anymore. Anyhow, this case being connected to a hospital and all.
And Latin being the language of medicine. I'll give it a try. Houston, by the way, I found out where Eric Brandt works at City Central. He was, in fact, a kitchen worker. He was assigned to the executive dining room.
Yeah, sure, I knew Eric. I'd like to know where the hell he is today. He's supposed to help me clean this up. Not to mention, today's the day we have to scrub down the kitchen.
Listen, I tell you, if you help me, maybe I can find him, let you know where he is.
What are you? Some kind of cop?
Well, no, I'm a private detective. Listen, I tell you something, partner. I'd sure appreciate your help.
What do you want to know?
Well, for starters, what'd they do around here?
Oh, same thing I do. At least he's supposed to. Come to think of it, that's kind of funny. He's supposed to be a kitchen helper, right? Well, the last couple of weeks, he spent most of his time with the man.
Who's the man?
Him. His Holiness himself. Dr. Elias Baker. That's what this big breakfast was for. Big farewell deal. Dr. Baker and his mercy ship. Leaving today.
Wait, are you sure that they're leaving today?
Yeah. This afternoon. It's a big deal. Taking food and medicine and stuff off to Africa or something. You know what I want to know? When are they going to start worrying about the people in this country?
Listen, I tell you what, you wouldn't happen to know where Eric Brandt lived, would you?
Nah. I never seen him out of this place. I don't like to see nobody from this place out of this place.
Yo, listen, I tell you, what about employee lockers? Did you have one of those?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Follow me. This is his locker right here.
Thank you.
Dr. Baker, President?
Dr. Elias Baker?
Yes. Who is this, please?
Houston?
CJ, listen, I think I just found out a part of what Eric Brandt was trying to warn us about down here at the hospital. It turns out that he was spending a lot of time with Dr. Elias Baker.
The Dr. Elias Baker with the Mercy ship?
Yeah, the very same. And it turns out the Mercy ship is going to sail today. CJ, tell me, if something were to happen to that,
Well, like Eric said, thousands of people could die. What do you want me to do?
I want you to find out all you can about Dr. Baker and his Mercy ship. Find out what all is on board, right down to the last Band-Aid. Thank you.
Eric Brandt, yes, of course I know the young man. He works in the kitchen.
I understand that he spent quite a bit of time with him.
Me? Yes, I guess he did.
Dr. Baker's a very open person. When you spend your life living with and trying to feed the starving of the world, you lose your sense of class distinction.
Has Eric done something wrong? Broken the law? Or not paid a bill?
I'll tell you, he's gotten himself killed, Doctor.
Oh, my God.
I was hoping maybe that you could help me find out why.
I haven't the faintest idea. I didn't know Eric outside the hospital, you see. Such a bright young man. I love bright young minds. I'm sorry, I just don't know what else to tell you.
Mr. Houston, we do have a ship that has to sail at 4 p.m.
Oh, of course. Listen, I know you're both busy. Thanks for your time. You did say that the ship here is going to sail at 4 p.m., right?
Yes, at 4. Should be quite a do. Television people are expected and all.
Thanks again.
Corey. It's another loose end to be taken care of.
What do you mean?
Houston knows too much.
He knows nothing. I really must insist
He knows Brandt is dead, that it has something to do with you. You saw that man we were talking to?
Yeah, we saw him.
Kill him.
I don't know why I ever got involved with you people.
Because, Doctor, underneath your sanctimonious public image, you're just as greedy, grubby, and venal as the rest of us. Not to mention your unnatural appetite for blondes.
Think we got him?
I don't know, but we better get out of here.
They gave him his last rites. Did you know that?
I know that, Mama. How's he doing now?
He's alive. At least he's still alive. Father Antonio's flying out here to be with his brother Vincenzo. All the way from New York City. He comes. Oh, Houston. I don't know how many more roses I got left.
You just keep coming, Mama, all right? It'll work.
María Santísima, no me lo lasciar morir, non lo permettere.
Would you look at you? Hey, listen, your boys are doing fine. They don't let kids come up here, you know. Want me to show you this card here? Don't let him die.
The monitors are going to better hurry. 65/20. Not much time.
He's not breathing.
We'll need more room here. The cart's ready, Doctor. Paddles are prepared and connected if your CPR doesn't take. Come on. Come on. Breathe. Come on.
Starting flight car.
Orderly's not assigned to duty. Report to emergency. Orderly's not assigned to
Let's get the paddles. Defib. Hit him again.
Houston, you're nuts. You know that?
I know that Eric Brand is dead.
He's nothing but a con man and a swindler. The world's better off without him.
I also know that Vince Novelli is lying in the hospital in intensive care.
Novelli's the best cop who ever worked with him. But if he makes it, and you tell him, I'll deny it.
You're all heart.
So, you want me to go to a judge, get you an order preventing Dr. Elias Baker's mercy ship from sailing. And that's Dr. Elias Baker, one of the saints of the world. And then there's you. I tell you, you're really nuts.
Well, listen, now, Eric told the ladies I was supposed to stop something. Then he said fear. Fear for tomorrow.
Except that it's not fear what it is for, but it's a German, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
I know that. I know, and I didn't figure it out myself till they told me what time the ship was sailing. Now, they told me I was supposed to stop something tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow is now today. And what was I supposed to stop?
You're supposed to stop the mercy ship. You gotta stop reading detective stories.
Listen, now, what about the good doctor lying to me, huh?
What? Because you found the doctor's home phone number in Brandt's locker? Come on.
Initials EB. Now, I checked it out. The doctor's close associates and friends are the only ones that call him EB.
Look, I would like to help you out, but let's face it, you don't have anything. You're emotionally involved, so you're grabbing at straws. Go and get me some evidence. Something I can take to a judge when you ask me to stick my neck out.
Houston, I broke the code, and you're right. It was in Latin.
Is there any kind of a motive in all that stuff?
That and a whole lot more. There were a couple of pages torn out of the book, so it was hard to decipher for a while.
There's blood.
Blood and lots of it, Houston. From what I could decipher from the code, about 90,000 units of fresh, frozen, whole blood.
I'm not following all of this.
Well, Captain, it's an ugly racket. Heard about it before. You see, blood can only be frozen for 3 months before it goes bad. It's not safe for humans. Then it has to be sold for laboratory blood.
You see, laboratory blood is 1/10 the cost of good blood. Now, if somebody tried to sell 90,000 units of laboratory blood for good blood, they would make millions of dollars.
This is CJ. Did you find out what's on board the doctor's ship?
Well, besides foodstuffs, medicines, and bandages, he had exactly 90,000 units of fresh, frozen, whole blood donated by local charities.
So now you want your search warrant, I guess I get to stick my neck out. You driving?
You got it.
Okay.
Problem, gentlemen?
Dr. Baker?
Yes, indeed.
We got a search warrant here. We want to check your supplies of frozen blood.
Blood? Well, I don't really know. Actually,
Come on!
Hold it right there.
Look behind you, fellas. Tell me something, Doctor. Why'd you do it?
I didn't want to do it. They blackmailed me. I mean, you have to know that through the years I've saved thousands of lives. And some of that blood would have been good. And I would have made up for it, you know.
How do you make up for taking life, huh?
Dr. Elias Baker has been arrested on murder and conspiracy charges allegedly surrounding a black market ring dealing in the transfer of outdated blood.
What do you drink?
Well, I didn't know this was a social occasion.
It's not, but I figured you might need one.
When I drink, it's bourbon, 2 fingers. Where's Houston? He said this was important.
I'm going to give you 4 fingers of bourbon. At the moment, Houston is in the process of breaking and entering.
I'll take the 4 fingers. Why is it I have this feeling I'm being asked to stick my neck out again?
Well, you see, Houston gave it some thought, and he came to the conclusion that the case isn't closed yet.
Well, why not? We got the doctor, we got his buddies, we got 90,000 units of bad blood. What more does he want?
He wants $6 million, which is the cost of 90,000 units of good blood on the black market.
Good God.
We were so busy patting ourselves on the back because of the arrest of the doctor that we forgot one very important thing.
Where is the good blood? You wouldn't care to tell me where Houston is breaking and entering right now, would you?
Well, I wouldn't tell you even if I knew. But the fact is, he did say that he would call when he knew whether or not he was right or wrong. Cheers. Well, it doesn't, Aha. Houston?
CJ, tell Kerrigan I was right. I found the blood, all 90,000 units of it.
Noon, Houston.
He'll be here. I'll make book on it. Sunday is the only day that this place is quiet enough for them to move their shipment.
Position 3 just reported a refrigerated van headed our way.
10-4.
Houston.
Hope that was wrong.
It's Eric Brandt. He's supposed to be dead.
That's what he wanted us to believe, CJ.
I'll be damned.
That's Lila Durant.
She was the one that was driving the car when Eric jumped in. They staged that whole car chase.
Stage the gunshot, stage the car crash?
Every bit of it, CJ, just to convince me that Eric was dead. It set me off on that clever trail that led us to Dr. Baker and his friends.
And Lila works here at the meatpacking plant, which is how you knew where to look for the fresh blood. What about the girl who was with her?
Okay, all units, move in.
Tell you, CJ, I believe she was just an innocent pawn that they used to set this whole thing in motion.
What's the connection between Brandt and Dr. Baker?
Well, if I know Eric, he was probably partners with Dr. Baker until he decided to double-cross him and keep all the money to himself.
Freeze!
I got him!
Houston!
Why'd you do it, Eric? Well, you didn't have enough money? You always have to lie and cheat people like you've done all along. What was in it for you, huh?
Actually, old boy, excluding Antarctica, there's only 6 continents in the world, and I'm wanted on 5 of them by too many good guys and bad guys.
6 continents, wanted on 5. You're always good at those catchy little phrases. Well, how about this for a catchy little phrase, huh? My best friend is lying in a hospital dying. His mother, his wife, and his 4 children are sitting there waiting. They don't know if he's ever gonna make it. What about your daughter? Why did you put her through that?
Houston, I had to. I told you, too many people are after me. I knew I could trust you to look after her.
You used me, just like you've used everybody all your life. Whose body was it in the burning car? Some Skid Row bum?
Matt, look, we used to be friends. Laugh together.
Nobody's laughing anymore.
Houston, do you think it was smart of me trying to steal home from second base in the 4th inning?
Well, sure, Tony. I mean, we were only down 27-18 at the time.
You know, when my dad gets out of the hospital, he'll probably want his manager's job back. I hope you don't mind.
No. Well, maybe he'll let me coach third base, huh? Come on.
Hi, CJ.
Hey, how did T-Ball's answer to Tommy Lasorda make out?
Oh. Well, just fine, CJ. We pulled it out in the last inning, 35-34.
Tony, there's some soda and crackers in my office. Why don't you go help yourself? Houston, before we go any further, I'd like to introduce you to the latest edition of Houston Industries family, Susan Rogers.
Well, Susan, nice to have you in the family.
Why, thank you, Mr. Houston. You know, you have a lovely smile.
Well, thank you.
Susan's an expert in smiles, Houston.
Well, she ought to be. She's got a pretty enough one herself.
Well, it's not quite what you think. You see, Dr. Susan Rogers knows a lot about teeth because,
Because of what?
Because I pull them out.
Oh.
Now, look at that bicuspid. Oh, Mr. Houston, you've hired me none too soon.